Great, yes. So welcome and hello. Thanks for joining our webinar. So the key purpose of this webinar is to introduce you to the Walk in Our Shoes network so that you and the people you support can get involved. You'll hear about what the Walk in Our Shoes network is, who can get involved with it, and the range of opportunities that you can take part in. By way of introduction, my name is Vicky and I'm Head of Public Affairs and Policy at HFT. Our small team is all about working with decision makers in Whitehall and Westminster and with learning disabled adults to create positive change for people with a learning disability and for the social care sector more broadly as well. We're also going to be joined by Sophie, who is the Public Affairs and Campaigns Assistant in my team, Ian, who's Head of Care and Support in the East, and perhaps most importantly, we'll be joined by Rachel, who is a champion in the Walk in Our Shoes network. She isn't with us in person, but we'll be hearing a brilliant recording from Rachel. So can I have the next slide, please? So what is the Walk in Our Shoes network? I hear you cry. So the Walk in Our Shoes network is a group of people who want to get involved in making positive change for adults with a learning disability. So people who sign up to the Walk in Our Shoes network are called Walk in Our Shoes champions, and they receive easy read newsletters once a month with lots of opportunities to get involved with our work in making positive change. And you can see an example of the newsletter in this slide. And the network is all about ensuring that learning disabled adults are central to our external facing work at HFT. Could I have the next slide, please? The Walk in Our Shoes network is open to everyone who wants to drive positive change for adults with a learning disability. It includes adults with a learning disability, family members or friends of someone with a learning disability, people who work with adults with a learning disability, and you, everybody on this call. Next slide, please. So the next few slides are about the opportunities that the network offers and what you can get involved with. So in every newsletter, there are a range of different opportunities that champions can choose to take part in. These opportunities relate to all aspects of HFT's external facing work. So that includes our fundraising work, our media and PR work, and our policy and public affairs work. So our work making change. One way you can help, for example, is to share your experiences. Telling stories about your experiences and opinions helps people to learn from them. And these stories we can share through social media and in our work with external news outlets like the radio or TV and print and online news. It can also be shared by our fundraising team to talk externally about the brilliant work that HFT is doing and to encourage more people to donate to us. So, for example, in recent editions of the newsletter, we've asked about people's experiences of voting and of going on holiday and of any barriers that individuals face. And on the slide here, you can see an example of a story that we shared on social media about voting. Next slide, please. Champions can also get involved in our campaigning and change-making work. So the newsletter will provide opportunities to work with the Public Affairs and Policy team. And in particular, this will drive Voices for Our Future, which is our 5-year campaign for change. Voices for Our Future focuses on 4 different themes: social care, housing, employment and attitudes towards adults with a learning disability. And these are themes that we came up with adults with a learning disability, and they're things which they said needed to change so they could live their best life possible. We'll offer opportunities through the network, so you and the people that you support can help us influence politicians and other decision makers on these issues. And really importantly, ensure that the experiences and opinions of adults with a learning disability are heard in those arenas of power and decision making, so in Whitehall and Westminster. Next slide, please. Hopefully, you would also love to get involved with some of the kind of research activities that we'll be offering through the network. And this informs all of those external facing teams at HFT, so our fundraising, media and policy teams. This could be joining focus groups or completing surveys. And this information really helps inform HFT's work and that of the wider learning disability social care sector when we are campaigning for change. So yeah, those are all the exciting things and opportunities that will be part of the Walk on Our Shoes network. I'm going to pass over to Sophie now, so she can carry on with the presentation.
Thanks, Vicky. Hopefully everyone can see me okay and hear me. Yeah, so I'm just going to introduce you now to the network and how it's accessible to everyone, essentially, and talk about the easy read information that we have available. So because the network is open to everyone, we've decided to produce our emails and our newsletters to champions in an easy read format so that they are accessible to everyone as accessible as possible. We've also got the easy read resources available on the HFT website, which will help you to explain what the network is to the people that you support and anyone really that needs that explanation. And it will have that in easy read, so that goes through the similar information that you're receiving here about what the network is, what the champions can get involved with, and how people can get involved and join. Lisa should hopefully be putting a link in the chat now, which will take you to the Walk on Our Shoes page on the HFT website. And if you scroll down there, you'll be able to see the links to the Easy Read Explainer there, and also the Easy Read Terms of Reference, so that you've got all the information about the Walk on Our Shoes network, but in that nice easy read format, so that hopefully you can really make sure that we're getting as many people involved as possible, essentially. Yeah, so next slide, please, Lisa. We're also going to have a welcome pack, which is going to be launching as part of Learning Disability Week, which is the 19th of June. And that welcome pack will be for champions that have signed up. And the pack, again, is all in easy read. It'll have the different ways to tell people about the Walk on Our Shoes network, such as template tweets and a poster that can be put up in services or in different areas. So that's a few different ways that people can get involved and encourage lots of other people to sign up. There's also going to have an introduction to politics, so that champions that might be more interested in the political side of getting involved in our campaigns have that introduction and the background if they want to have that resource there for them. And also a consent form in easy read, so that people can, obviously we've got the correct consent in place. So that welcome pack will be sent out to our existing champions, as well as all new signups to the network after that point. Yes, so next slide, please. And now we're going to be hearing from Rachel. So you can see some images of Rachel here. So she's someone that HFT supports, and you can see some of the activities that she's been involved with as being part of the Walk on Our Shoes network, talking to her MP and the Minister for Disabled People Health and Work. So I won't talk too much further. We're going to have a little short video from Rachel, so we can hopefully hear why she thinks you should sign up and get as many people as possible to sign up.
So what's your name and how did you first find out about HFT?
My name is Rachel and I am a member of Love to Meet You, which is how I first found out about HFT. I joined Love to Meet You in 2012 and it's the best thing that's happened to me because it's helped me to get out of the house and meet new friends.
Brilliant. Thanks, Rachel. And why did you join the Walk on Our Shoes network?
I joined the Walk in Our Shoes network to speak out about issues that matter to me. I like to be an advocate for change and help make things better for other people.
Brilliant, brilliant. And are there any particular issues that you'd like to speak up about as a member of the Walk in Our Shoes network?
I'd like to speak up about bus passes. Mine has run out and it's difficult to get a new one, as I don't hit the standard criteria according to the DWP. I had one before and I don't think I should have to fight to get a new one. Train travel is another thing. I think that when trains are busy, people who find it difficult to be in noisy places should be able to sit in first class without having to pay extra. Attitudes towards adults with a learning disability is something else I want to speak up about. People don't always understand us. I wish there was more training and awareness raising.
Great. Those are some really important issues, Rachel. So thanks for sharing those. And can you tell me a bit about the activities you've been involved with whilst you've been part of the Walk in Our Shoes network?
I was involved in the trip to Parliament when we launched Voices for Our Future. I spoke with various MPs about attitudes towards people with a learning disability and hope to make a change. I have also been involved with some videos. For example, I recently recorded a video about myth busting for Learning Disability Week.
Perfect, thanks, Rach. And I thought going to Parliament was so much fun, and you did such an excellent job speaking to those MPs.
Thank you.
So my final question is, if you met somebody who was thinking about joining the Walk in Our Shoes network, what would you say to them?
Go for it. It will probably change your life and it can make you more confident.
So what's your name?
So that's a little clip from Rachel, and hopefully you can see why the Walk in Our Shoes network is such a great opportunity for different people to get involved with. And now I think we're going to hear from Ian, hopefully.
Yeah, good morning. Firstly, thank you, Vicky and Sophie, for what you've shared with us already. Vicky asked me to come and have a chat with everyone today and just kind of share some of my own experiences. And after having the opportunity to see this, it was something that I was keen to get involved in. As soon as I saw this, I think it put me in a position where I started thinking why I do what I do. I think that has slightly changed over the years. When I first started in health and social care, I think that the reason I started in health and social care is very different to the reason I work in health and social care today. But very quickly, I started to work with people and really started to achieve outcomes. But very quickly got quite frustrated with the outcomes that I wanted to achieve, or so that I saw that people wanted to achieve, and simply the resources were not there in place, and really saw some misjustice for people with support. So the ability to campaign for change and support at another level is massively important. So I think I would like to ask everyone a couple of favours today, and that's to think about, firstly, why you do what you do. What do you want to see? What do you want to see change? Can you impact that? Is that at a local level? Is that in your service? If you're impacting at a local level, what could you do on a national level? So that would be my first favour. My second favour would be to really consider joining the Walk in Our Shoes campaign. I think there's a slide up on the screen that shows you a link, a QR link, in order to become a champion. I think there's a short form, Vicky, if I'm right, to complete when you sign on to that QR code. Because one person can make significant change. We see it across our services. I have the pleasure of going out and visiting a lot of the services, and I see some really big changes, and sometimes they're implemented by one person. I then see massive change from teams in areas. But then as a collective, as an organisation, we could make huge change nationally. So please join the campaign and become a HFT champion. And thank you for your time.